Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
It's time to play everyone's favorite Follow the Money game. Live from the VSiN studios.
Hey guys, you ready to let the dogs out?
This is door number 1.
New high score!
What does high score mean? New high score, is that bad? What's that mean? Did I break it?
Or door number 2.
Get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Here's Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard.
Dustin Sweetelson in for Paulie Howard this week. By the way, we'll get to our best bets in baseball coming up in about 15 minutes as games are starting this hour. It's funny, we talked about this earlier today with no intentions of this actually being part of door 1 or door 2. But door number 1 is Texas to make the playoffs this year, or the semifinals, I'm sorry, at 2-1, or Oregon to make the college football semifinals at plus 140. Which one are you going with, Dustin?
Yeah, it's basically who do you believe is a better big game coach? Two guys who have not quite gotten there when it mattered. I'm taking Oregon. I'm taking Dan Lanning. I don't trust Steve Sarkisian. I'll lean towards the defense. I'll also lean towards some of the continuity the Ducks have versus Texas. There's a lot of new pieces coming in. And I think at the end of the day, if you want a quarterback in the fourth quarter to throw you to a win, I'll take Dante Moore over Arch Manning. So give me the Ducks at plus $1.40.
What did you make last year of like the film guys during Arch Manning, like the tail end of the regular season when it started to look like maybe here's the uptick coming now from Arch and he's looking a little bit better. They're like, yeah, he's going to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Like, are we sure about that?
Yeah, they got really excited because he picked apart Vanderbilt, right? He was good against Arkansas, who was left for dead. I mean, you look at the numbers against some of the better defenses. He didn't clear 200 yards, only had, 1 passing touchdown against A&M, only threw for 221 against Michigan at the end of the year. I don't know, man. I think he's good. I understand the hype, and I understand there's room for growth, but right now, Dante Moore's the better quarterback.
By the way, are we sure that Texas is going to make the playoffs?
You know what? That'd be a fun bet.
They get Ohio State. They're at Tennessee. Of course, they get Oklahoma neutral. Florida and Ole Miss are at home.
A&M at the end.
At Missouri, at LSU, at A&M.
I think people are sleeping on A&M just because they made the playoff a year ago and had the dud against
they're a very
Miami.
good football team.
Marcel Reed, they're going to use his legs more this year. They're going to be pretty dangerous offensively as well.
As a college football quarterback, I don't know what he's going to be like beyond this year. I have no idea. But in college, the kids are the real deal.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's kind of the benefit of A&M. It's like in college basketball. You want to recruit players that are good enough to stay 3 years and play, but not good enough to jump to the NBA.
That's true.
And win with them. Marcel Reed's kind of in that mold where it's like, he's good enough to be really good at college, but not good enough to leave too early.
Yep. All right, door number 1, fewest wins in the National Football League. You can get the Cardinals or the Dolphins. Or door number 2, Dustin, you get the field.
I want to take the Dolphins so bad. What
about Sean Green earlier?
I told you,
over.
I disagree. This team has nobody to throw the ball to. Jalen Tolbert, Tutu Atwell. I don't know how they're going to consistently move the chains in the passing attack, which means Devon Achane's going to be running behind the sticks all the time. Defensively, it leaves a lot to be desired. Unless Chris Bell, who I actually like, who they got value on, I think, in the second round, unless he pops here, he was injured all last year for Louisville. If he's awesome, then they have someone to stretch the field. I think it's the Dolphins, but why I probably should take the field is every year I think it's one of the top 2 on the betting board, and it never ends up being them.
Sure, and you still have teams like the Jets.
And there's an injury that we don't know about.
You still have a team like the Browns.
Yeah. Well,
here's the thing. If there's going to be a tanking team this year, why would it not be Cleveland?
The Browns are 10-11 to 1. That's the one.
That's the play.
That's the one.
I think, right?
If you're betting anyone, it's the one. If Deshaun Watson plays, I think it helps the bet. I actually think he helps you lose games more than Shador does. Ironic. People are going to be very upset that I said that, though.
By the way, I'm not going to bet him, but if you told me right now the Dolphins were going to shock the world and win like 9 games, Achane at 75 or 80 to 1 to win Offensive Player of the Year, he's the guy.
Well, that's the formula.
They can't win enough games.
No, but the formula would be is he's catching everything. He's running everything.
He's got like 100. He puts in like a LaDainian Tomlinson type of year.
Dude, his career is going to be wasted in that organization.
Yeah.
By the time he gets a contract, it's going to be pennies on the dollar what he should be getting.
Door number 1, National League pennant, same price here. Phillies 8-1. Cubs at that same number for door number 2.
I'll tell you this, I've been pretty hot and heavy with the Phillies, Mitch. I still believe in the rotation. I like veteran bats when it comes to October, and I have not been a Cubs guy during this run. But if they can add like a Reed Detmers and maybe another arm into this rotation, I would buy into the Cubs offense more than the Phillies in the postseason. I would lean Cubs, but as it is right now, I go Philly 8-1. What about you?
I think I would go Philly right now with like no confidence, but the reason why I say that is because I think that I can trust that team to be active at the deadline more than the Cubs.
Dombrowski.
Yeah. I think that they'll go out and make a guy that could put him, and I would be happier then. Because are the Cubs going to do that? They should.
Yeah, I think they're going to make a move or two, but I don't know if it's going to be a splash, right? It could just be solid arm depth.
Yeah, and that's not good. And I think the splash will be coming from Philly's end.
Yes.
So that's why I would take them. Door 1, NFL, to throw for 4,000 plus yards this year. Bryce Young plus 750. Door number 2, Jackson Dart plus 650.
I don't know if either one gets there, but I'll take Dart because I think Bryce Young stinks, and I think Dave Canales knows it. And I think Dave Canales might be trying to work on ways to move on for Bryce Young if he has an opportunity. I wouldn't be surprised if Bryce Young regresses back, even though they gave him a little bit more help offensively. I'm going to go I think Jackson Dart has way bigger upside, but he has worse weapons to throw to. I just think Nagy coming in, a legitimate head coach, and then a bunch of veteran receivers that are super solid. I'll lean Dart, but I don't know if either one gets there.
Well, here's the news today about the comment about who he has to throw to. Dart, that is. That could be beneficial here. That Malik Neighbors is expected to avoid the PUP list.
Oh, it's huge.
That's gigantic.
That is everything.
That has... You're exactly right. Overall, for Dart, for his season-long props, I would say fantasy purposes changes everything now for Neighbors as well, where he could go in the draft. And then you have to say, wait a second, yeah, he does have a better weapon. I know McMillan won Rookie of the Year. Neighbors was on pace to be like one of the best weapons in football.
Well, don't forget Likely at tight end.
Of course.
Isaiah Likely might have receiver-type numbers this year for the Giants.
Most regular season rushing touchdowns. Door number 1, Jahmyr Gibbs 5-1. Derrick Henry, door number 2, same number, 5-1.
I think I like Jahmyr Gibbs here. A couple elements at play. One, Gibbs is live to score anywhere on the field. Like, he can get the ball at his own 1 yard line. There's a chance he scores.
Yeah.
But two, I think with the way that they're managing Derrick Henry, he might be getting them into the goal line. And while he's the greatest goal line back we've probably seen of recent memory, the way that they're going to keep him healthy, I do think they're going to mix in some other guys once they get down into scoring territory. You're going to see Justice Hill. You're going to see Ali. They've got young players that they might lean on a little bit here. I'm going to go Gibbs because I think you might get the electricity from him scoring from anywhere on the field.
There's no David Montgomery.
Yep.
And other than a trick play in Kansas City on a Sunday night that a bettor had 95-1 on Jared Goff to score the first touchdown of the game, there was some inside information on that. Tirico talked about it on the broadcast for those of you who remember that. Jared Goff's not a threat to run the football in near the end zone, right?
No.
Lamar Jackson clearly is like the biggest threat at quarterback in the entire
100%.
league. So I think Gibbs, I think you probably want to go down the board a little bit more, but between these two guys, I think Gibbs would be the guy. But
Yeah, that's the right call.
But I'm all in on Gibbs this year.
It's so hard not to be.
Yeah. Door number 1, NBA. LeBron to average 22-plus points per game this year at plus 950, or LeBron scores 45-plus in any game 10-1. That is a good one.
Ooh, LeBron's going to score 45 in a game. He's going to do it when they play the Lakers because they play no defense. Right? He's going to do it in the revenge angle.
Embiid's out.
Can I already bet LeBron triple-double when they play the Lakers? Can I already lock that one up right now? What kind of odds will you give me? I like that one. Averaging 22. He averaged 20.9. He barely, really played a year ago. 2 years ago, he still had 24.4. It's just they have a lot of mouths to feed, so maybe...
This is a no-brainer to me.
Which one?
That's door number 2 all day long.
Yeah,
in fact, I think that's probably worth the bet overall. Because you have to figure, how many games will Embiid miss this year?
How many times did he score 45 last year? No, you're right. You're right.
He'll miss plenty of games. At the same time, when will Jaylen Brown have a night off? And when will LeBron be the man on the team because of other guys? And then he'll have a night where look at this, vintage LeBron, 7 threes. and he's got 28 at halftime. Like 10-1 to score 45 in any game is absolutely not. He didn't do it last year, 45?
I think he topped out at 36 at the Clippers early in the year.
Here's the thing. You can go down a little bit more on that. You can go, will he score 40 or more in any game? And you could probably bet, will he score 35 at all in any game this year?
But you're right. Load management, not just Embiid, some of the other guys out of the lineup. And then he's going to have to play and be the dude.
That will happen. Last one here. Door number 1. This is an annual talking point. It's a fascinating discussion to me.
Oh, I love this.
Door number 1 is a non-quarterback wins the NFL MVP, or door number 2, a non-quarterback wins the Heisman Trophy.
I think it's more likely in the NFL.
Do you really?
I think the quarterbacks don't even have great numbers, I feel like will still win the Heisman. In the NFL, you still have a receiver, you have a running back, you have defenders who could get Defensive Player of the Year and win the award potentially.
We've had 2 players in recent years since the pandemic win it as a non-quarterback in college football.
I know.
Devontae Smith, and then you had Travis Hunter.
Well, Devontae Smith barely counts. That was 2020, right?
That was 22, yeah.
It was odd. Travis Hunter was a unicorn, unless there's another two-way player coming.
There won't be this year anyway.
But for this year, I do think it would be the NFL.
It had to be a running back, right? Or you mentioned defensive player?
Myles Garrett.
It's not going to be a wide receiver because
Myles Garrett.
Okay.
That'd be the one this year?
Probably. All right, today's Major League Baseball card is coming up next. I have a couple of bets. I think you probably have about 20, 25 bets as always. We'll expand on those and tell you why we like them coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, full slate of games coming up tonight. Major League Baseball. The Guardians did take game 1 today of a doubleheader against the Reds by a score of 6-5. They lit up Chase Burns today, man. Not good for him.
I have 30-1 for him for NL Cy Young. I've never believed that ticket was live.
Really?
I just...
for a minute, I thought it was live.
It's the ballpark scares me. It's just like one bad start like today, and all of a sudden you're done.
So a couple of bets that I have. First of all, the Orioles are playing at the Tigers tonight. This is Kramer taking on Melton. Melton has been like sneaky, under the radar, terrific this year. 1.95 ERA, 0.95 WHIP, 178 batting average against. At home, the ERA goes up a tick, but so did the Ks per 9. He's at 27% at home. A 1 WHIP there. The batting average allowed still sub 2 overall there. He's allowed more than 2 runs. 1 start this entire year. That was fluky against the Twins back on June 9th. Today's Orioles lineup, looking at some projections, 24% K rate, not a high on base or average overall. I bet that I think it was on the website, I think $1.35 earlier today.
I got that as well.
You played him too?
Yeah, I'm on the Tigers. Melton last 4 starts, $1.21 ERA, 30 strikeouts, 22 1/3. So Ks are way up lately.
Yep.
And then I was looking at some of the trends with him. 13-2 to the under in his starts going back to last year. He is 7-0 straight up when Detroit is off of a loss. On top of that, Baltimore is just 16-20 on the road. The Tigers 3 games above 500 at home. Dean Kramer is a guy I don't trust on the road. A 6.19 road ERA in 3 starts, 5.30 last year away from Camden. I love Detroit in this spot.
Yeah, I like them. They take a little bit of money here at Circa. Now they're up to $1.43. I would think it's still playable, probably up to like $1.50 or so. So what will this now? How about this now for the Tigers?
Yeah,
on this mini skid again, going the opposite direction, and the deadline is looming. By the way, deadline this year, for those who don't know, typically that's on July 31st. Not this year, August 3rd. They pushed it back. So what will they do with Tarek Skubal, the 2-time reigning and defending American League Cy Young winner? This was Jeff Passan from ESPN opining earlier today.
When I talk with opposing executives, they all say the same thing. The Tigers want to trade Tarek Skubal, but can they? And that's where we're going to get to over the next few days. Detroit needs to make a decision, and there are going to be plenty of suitors. The Rays want Tarek Skubal. The Brewers want Tarek Skubal. The Phillies could sneak in there. The Braves, and of course the Dodgers lurking around. If the Tigers do trade Skubal, whether they get back an arm who's big league capable right now, outfield help, a little bit of both maybe. They're also going to be getting Jackson Jobe back. Detroit's pitching with Jobe, with Troy Melton, with Valdez. They are in a good spot going forward, and they actually could afford and might be best off if they trade Tarek Skubal.
So people telling, like everybody saying the same thing, they need to trade him. Okay, well, can we please make it happen to the two teams that he mentioned first there? Isn't it... I mean, am I wrong with this, Dustin? As an East Coast elitist like you are, wouldn't it be better for the sport if Skubal was traded to either Milwaukee or Tampa Bay?
Oh, no. I'm big in baseball where there's no salary cap, which means there's no salary floor. I want the middle markets to compete here. I want them to. I don't like that just because you have a lot more money, you can invest more in your team. First of all, these owners are lying to their fan base.
Of course, every single year.
They are all very, very wealthy.
Yep.
This is their hobby. This is their toy. This is not a business. And by the way, it's like one of the only businesses in America that you can buy into, sell it 10, 15 years later, and you'll sell it for like 250% profit. It's a guaranteed lock. You're going to make money on it. So what are we talking about here? I'd love Milwaukee or Tampa Bay to do it. I would. And you know what makes them interesting is that you're only as the trade is only as good as what people are willing to give up. Those are two franchises that are always good with prospects.
Yeah,
they have plenty to deal here. Mm-hmm. I mean, what if Milwaukee did this? What if they took the two prospects they got for Freddie Peralta and turned it into a rental of Tarek Skubal? All of a sudden, you upgraded Peralta to Skubal. You're a totally different team this year. You have a chance.
I'd be in.
By the way, they're the second shot on Kalshi, Milwaukee, it looks like, to acquire his services. It pays out plus 528 in betting odds.
Oh, my God. So who's number one?
That would be the Los Angeles Dodgers at 39%. That's a plus 139 bet.
So there was an offshore book that opened up this market weeks ago. The Brewers were $1.25 favorites out of the gates.
See, that's what's interesting is everyone's got the different prices on this stuff.
Yeah, sure.
I think Atlanta at 10-1, you really have to consider. Anthopoulos has shown when he thought his team was good enough, he went all in. When they won the World Series a few years ago, they brought in Jorge Soler, a few others that helped them go on that run. They are desperate for a starter with Chris Sale. That pays out a little under 11-1 right now.
Okay. Let me get to my other bet that I really like tonight. It's a couple on the same player. I was under the impression this game was starting at 6:40 Eastern time. Evidently, it's under delay right now.
Okay.
So I don't know if they bumped it up or maybe I swear to God it was 6:40. Anyway, it's Toronto and Washington.
I have it at 6:45 Eastern.
Yeah, okay. All right. So it says under delay right now, top of the first inning. Maybe they try to bump it up to avoid some rain there, but it is on James Wood tonight. Captain Obvious here checking in, but he matches up really well with the stuff that Bieber throws in this game. So I played there. A lot of numbers here jump off the page today and looking at some projections for tonight. Very good against the four-seamer. Excellent against a fastball between 90 and 93 miles an hour. Numbers are even better against a slider for James Wood. I played him over 1.5 total bases at plus 114 if you can still get in there. And I laid 45 cents with him over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs in this game tonight.
I don't mind attacking Bieber here. I'm staying away just because Bieber did me dirty a couple starts ago against the White Sox. I tried to fade him.
I remember that game. Yeah.
6 shutout innings against an offense like Chicago. Had 6 strikeouts. 2 good starts in a row. The hits have been down, but in 2 road starts and 9 earned runs and 8 2/3, 12 hits in that span. And it does feel like, again, a lot of these aces, and Bieber used to be an ace, they are susceptible in the first inning. And James Wood with the leadoff homers, that's where you could tag him right there. On the other end, Cade Cavalli, 3 straight quality starts. His strikeouts in those 3, 5, 9, and 8. K's have been up the last couple here. But I would tell you this, at home, opponents 272 batting average versus 238 on the road. He is also 8-0 to the over at night, Cavalli.
8-0 over at nighttime. Okay. Did you ladder his props, much like Wheels last night?
No. When that fails, we do not go back to the well.
You don't go back to the ladder? So,
no.
Okay. How did you attack the board tonight then with like pitchers or
Yeah, I'm on the
props.
I'm on the Yankees. This one moved against me. Garrett Cole minus 125 now in the market. I laid minus 130 with the Yankees last night. Totals 8 against Anthony Kay, who's plus 104. This is one of those spots where I think Garrett Cole's going to find his way. He's going to get better as the year goes on. 3.70 ERA last 4, 32 Ks, 24 and a third innings. That tells me that the power is there. It's just kind of the refinement of it. The location hasn't been there. And his 5th start since returning from TJ surgery on June 16th against the White Sox. 6 innings, 2 earned, 6 strikeouts. And I'm looking at the White Sox, who don't have a very good bullpen. They used 5 relievers on Monday. The Yankees used 7, but I trust the Yankees guys a little bit more. Anthony Kay, lefty against a Yankees lineup that's good against left-handers. They're 24 and 16 straight up against lefties on the season. I'm going to back them here. And the Yankees, by the way, 9-1 on the road straight up this year against the American League Central.
Why did he go to Tijuana for surgery?
That's a good question.
Okay.
Well, people go there and get infections in their BBLs.
So Major League Baseball, MLB.com, they put out kind of like their straw poll for the MVP awards right now, kind of like the NBA does a couple of times throughout the season for their MVP award. This might be a leg that you might want to add as well for cross-sport parlays, but he's like minus 360. Yordan Alvarez is running away with the American League MVP.
It's killing me. I have 40-1 on Caminero. I even did a little cross-sport parlay to get him up to 69-1.
Nice.
And yeah, nice. And he went on the run right when I bet it, like the next day he just went on that heater. It's so reliant on that one run. He's the only challenger right now in my eyes.
Yeah, 34 MLB.com experts put votes in for this. If he wins, by the way, he's on pace and he might actually run away with it. I'm not saying this to jinx anything because I have some Caminero tickets as well. He's on pace to like run away with the Triple Crown. Yeah. And I don't think voters are going to, if nobody else is going to like have a Cal Raleigh or an Aaron Judge type year from last year, it's going to be his to take down. And out of the 34 people who voted, he got 30 of the first place votes. Caminero got 2. Ben Rice got 1 first place vote. Not enough for our buddies Will Hill or Mike Montesano, who have huge tickets on him, like at 150-1. And the other first place vote went to Dingler from the Tigers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay, so National League, we talked about this yesterday, trying to like corner the market for those of us who might have PCA tickets, trying to fade Ohtani. Shohei still got 23 first place votes.
FanDuel has him down to minus 130.
You're kidding me.
I'm looking at it right now. I didn't look at it in a few hours. I don't know when this moved. Shohei's down to minus 130. Pete Crow Armstrong's even money.
What happened?
Well, I don't know what we missed, but I just happened to pull this up. What is DraftKings right now? Because that is crazy. Well, while you look that up, let me remind everyone, the NFL betting guide, it is out right now, whether you're going to bet on futures, win totals, division races, MVP, Rookie of the Year, Super Bowl odds. Our guide's going to help you get ahead of the market as training camp begins right now. You'll get breakdowns of all 32 teams, projected win totals, best bets from VSiN experts, plus power ratings and more. You can get it today with our football special for just $175. The sooner you sign up, the more value you're going to get. Full access to everything we do on the website now through the Super Bowl. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe.
I'm seeing, PCA, the best number out there right now is plus 175. Ohtani down to minus 125 at some spots.
What is going on?
Okay, we'll check into that. And also more Big Ten coming up next. Adam Rittenberg from ESPN. How many Big Ten teams will make the playoffs this year?
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
It's Big Ten week in college football. Their media days are going on the entire time. And right now, more on that as we go out to the Progressive Guest Line. Adam Rittenberg does a great job covering the conference and college football for ESPN, and he joins us on the Progressive Guest Line. Hey, Adam, thanks for the time today. We appreciate it. How are you?
Hey, doing great, guys. Thanks for having me on.
You've had a chance to talk to a lot of the coaches. 6 teams, I think, overall today, center stage for this conference. One of those that you talked to, Lincoln Riley, there is like growing steam, has been now on this team buying into the recruiting class, the offense overall, how good they could be this year. Are you in that same boat as others?
I am. I'll qualify that in noting that their schedule, like others around the Big Ten, is incredibly difficult. They have Ohio State coming into the Coliseum, Oregon, Washington. They have to go to both Indiana, the national champion, and Penn State. But this will be Lincoln Riley's most complete team. He's made that loud and clear throughout the offseason, including in our conversation today, and I believe him. He's been working towards this year. He often comes to these events and gets some criticism for saying what USC has been lacking and how they've been fighting an uphill battle. Those days are over. He said, we have what we need to compete from an administration standpoint. They're a facility that's new. They have a roster that's there. Jaden Mayava has tremendous respect as maybe the Big Ten's best quarterback, and that's a group that includes Dante Moore. So Lincoln should be able to get this team in a position to reach its first college football playoff. Now, whether they actually do it with all those tough games, we're going to find out. But this is, I think rightfully so, he's bullish on this team.
And I'm curious, just, your sentiment, knowing the league so well, knowing where we stand in today's landscape. 12 teams make the college football playoff. And when you look at the Big Ten, it's hard not to make a case for 4, 5, even 6 this year. How many ultimately do you see being true playoff teams in this league?
Well, I think it goes back to the question that started to surface about how comfortable the committee is going to be with 9-3 teams in the playoff. They've not done that yet, but I could see a number of candidates in the Big Ten and even in the SEC that if they go 9-3, they may still have a playoff-worthy resume. If you're looking at the Big Ten, you have to start with Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana. I think those are clearly the top 3 teams going into the season. But then Penn State has a very favorable schedule, even though it's a new coach and Matt Campbell. He brings over a lot of players, 24 transfers from Iowa State, including their quarterback, Rocco Becht, who was here today. You look at USC, you look at perhaps Michigan. Washington believes that they're a team that will take a step. Now, I don't know if all of them are going to make the playoff, but they think they're in that conversation, and we'll see if they can break through. But I think at minimum, the Big Ten should have 3 teams in the playoff. We can see if they get to 4 or 5.
Okay. Wisconsin also part of it today. But I tell you this, Adam, if we could go back in time and somehow you would bet on coaches being successful, I'd be poor because I would have put everything into Luke Fickell working at Wisconsin, and it's been the exact opposite. Does it finally click in year 4 with him at the helm with the Badgers?
Well, I will tell you this. Luke was very clear in talking with us today about why he believes that the leadership is finally in the right place on the team. There's very greater accountability. I think the roster is closer to where he needs it to be at certain positions, but it has been rough, right? Nowhere near what any of us thought. Because, again, they fired a very successful coach in Paul Chryst to try to get to the college football playoff. It was very clear. They were a 9-10 win team that couldn't break through. Luke Fickell was the guy that got Cincinnati to the playoff. He was the one to make it happen. It's gone the other direction. Now, saying that, they've had maybe worse luck on the quarterback front in the last few years from an injury standpoint than any team in the country. So they need Colton Joseph to stay healthy. I know they're confident in some of their younger quarterbacks, but he was the guy that was brought in from Old Dominion to really make this thing go. He's a dynamic dual threat guy, maybe not the biggest arm, but can do a lot of exciting things in that offense. They need him on the field from start to finish. And they also need to get through a pretty tough September schedule with the games against Notre Dame at Lambeau and Penn State on the road. After that, guys, it softens up quite a bit. There's no Oregon, there's no Ohio State, there's no Indiana. So Wisconsin can make some noise if they can get out of September in a decent spot.
Adam, where are you at with Penn State? And I guess maybe where would you be at with Iowa State last year and how they would have done in the Big Ten? Because that's kind of the handicap. Looking at this team, 39 transfers, 24 from Iowa State, joined Matt Campbell over there in Happy Valley. Rocco Becht, the most experienced starter in the nation. Win total for them is 8.5. Schedule is very advantageous for them. How do you think they do year 1 of Campbell?
Yeah, I think they'll do well. Again, in part because of that schedule, but also because of the experience that they're bringing in. I mean, we've seen it now that, really good coach bringing in a number of his best players can hit right away. And no better example, obviously, than Curt Cignetti at Indiana with the James Madison group. Now, I think Rocco's a really good quarterback. How he's going to fare against Big Ten competition week in and week out remains to be seen. But Penn State's another team that really has a favorable schedule overall. Have a couple of tricky ones. USC coming in, they go to Michigan, but they're not facing the heavyweights, those other playoff contenders. So that's a team that can get to 9 wins, can really get to 10 wins. I think if it's below that number, 8.5, then they'll be disappointed, and justifiably so. Let's face it, they fired James Franklin 10 months after making the CFP semifinal to pursue national championships. And maybe it's unfair to say that begins in year one, but we're in an environment, guys, where those expectations for success right away are very much in place. And I think that's the case for Matt Campbell, and he realizes it in talking to him today.
Yeah. Adam Rittenberg, our guest, does a great job covering the Big Ten and college football for ESPN. Follow him on X at ESPN Rittenberg. Been at, day one of media days for the Big Ten all day today, and he's on the progressive guest line. So the last 3 years, obviously, the title has been won by a Big Ten team, Michigan, Ohio State, and Indiana last year. Everybody, I'm right there. Look, I can't deny how talented Oregon is, as talented as probably any team in the entire country. Do you think this is their year to win the whole thing?
I think they're in that position, right? Talk about a team that, they're prideful on this. They haven't lost a starter to the transfer portal, under Dan Lanning. And, they were able to keep pretty much everyone they wanted to from last year's team, from either going in the portal or going onto the NFL. And that includes their quarterback, Dante Moore. You look at their defensive line, completely intact. Some offensive skill guys are coming back. They've got a really good young cornerback in Brandon Finney Jr. So not a lot of obvious weaknesses. Now, they are replacing both of their coordinators. They did go internal for both of those hires. But, yeah, it feels like an if not now, when season for Oregon, who has made the college football playoff and has adjusted well to the Big Ten. They won this conference just a year ago. The thing that's hard to get out of a lot of our minds is what's happened in the playoff, and the fact that they've been pummeled by Ohio State and pummeled by Indiana to end their seasons the last 2 years. Obviously, that can't happen. They've got to compete better on that stage. But anything short of a playoff appearance and a deep playoff appearance will be looked at as a disappointment. And for all the great things that Dan Lanning has done, I think he's a terrific coach. There will be questions that will be asked if this type of roster with the retention they have can't break through and possibly give them their first national title.
What are your expectations for Michigan with Kyle Whittingham taking over? Their win total's 8.5, but the schedule makers didn't do them any favors. They get Penn State, they get Oregon, they get Ohio State, they get Indiana here. So tough sledding for the Wolverines, but how different will they look this season?
Yeah, and the Oklahoma game week 2, real tough test against a playoff team. So I think this will be a tough year, an adjustment year for Kyle and that program. And I'm a believer in him. I'm a believer in his style and his philosophy. I just don't know in this Big Ten with how strong the quarterback play is overall. I've got questions about a Michigan offense that has really done almost nothing from a passing standpoint the last 2 seasons. They'll be great running the ball. They'll be solid at the line of scrimmage on defense. John Henry Daly's a big-time addition to that pass rush. But when I look at the rest of the league, they're going to be in a lot of those toss-up games. And to me, that leads to an 8-4, 9-3 type season.
Very good. Follow Adam on X again at ESPN Rittenberg. Thanks, Adam. Know that you're swamped today. We appreciate the time.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
There you go. Adam Rittenberg joined us on the Progressive Guest Line. I like how this now for every league is turned into the full week.
Oh, I love it.
And how they just separate it now by like 6 teams each because there are 68 teams in every single conference.
Well, here's my issue. I understand the Big Ten is now a brand. There's 18 teams. It's one thing we went to 12, we went to 6. We've got 8. We can call it the Big 18 now. Can we advance a little bit as a society?
It's never going to happen.
I know we call it the Big Ten because it had 10 teams in it. By the way, you sent this over the weekend. The 30 for 30 that's dropping with Ohtani's interpreter and the investigation. Could that be why the Ohtani market is moving?
That's what I can't wait. It drops tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check this out. That's exactly the thought. That's the only thing, because I Googled his name and I put in an X, whatever. And it's like the only thing that popped up was the show that's debuting tonight on the 30 for 30.
Was he minus $7 yesterday or minus $4 yesterday?
Yes.
Somewhere in that range?
Yes. Now $1.30.
It's got someone had to get wind of him being implicated. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
I can't. I mean, there's nothing like there's no like other the knee. He blew out the knee. He's done for the year. There's nothing like that whatsoever. So we'll get to our best bets with in-pocket plays coming up next here on VSiN.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I'll bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day.
No way.
I'll give you 3 to 1 odds.
Nope.
5 to 1. Nope. 10 to 1. You're on.
Well, when the game was unfolding last night, the anger sharks were swimming in my head. The Nationals team total, first 5, over 2.5. Bases loaded, 1 out, first inning against Scherzer, who had absolutely nothing. He threw almost 80 pitches and did not even make 3 innings. It's just like they had 100 guys on in the first 5 innings and they scored 2 runs.
I was watching the game cast and I kept seeing runners on base. I was, oh, this bet's going to happen.
Of course,
and I looked
naturally.
Up why did the runs happen?
Yeah, unfortunately, that was a loser. But again, that's a bet that I would make. They could play that game 10,000 times and I would bet it every single time. Fortunately, last night, no good. I'm in. So I'm going to lock in a profit here. Ohtani MVP minus 130 for a couple of units. I might add more.
This is fishy.
I don't know what's going on right now. Again, trying to figure out in real time.
The only thing is someone knows what happened with this. It's either an injury with the knee, and he's not going to pitch the rest of the year for sure, or it's something with this 30 for 30 that's dropping that implicates him. And this is all speculation, but he was literally minus $7, minus $4 yesterday.
So, no, here's the deal. You just looked. I did not pay attention to the market today. Femi, who is hosting after us along with Will Hill, he said that he noticed the move earlier this morning. But I'm still in. I got to lock in a profit here on this.
Well, I think you've cornered it perfectly. You can't lose NL MVP.
I can't now.
No, like
I can't.
Schwarber, I guess, would be the only thing, but you have plenty. If he hits 75 home runs, that's the only way you lose it.
And then you know what? I'll tip my cap. If he sets the all-time record, hits 75 home runs, and he wins the award, and I have him in fantasy, it probably means I might win my fantasy league.
Okay, cool.
Then.
Yeah.
Okay, Tigers minus 136. This has drifted out a little bit, but I'd still play anything under like minus 150.
Yeah, I agree.
Melton has been, now they're going the wrong direction here, but this is a bet on a pitcher here in Melton who's been really good. You documented the numbers about a half an hour ago, and I think we're still in a delay in D.C.
Yeah, we are. 4:15 start, it looks like 7:15 Eastern.
So you can probably still bet this at a handful of books, but it's a plus matchup tonight for James Wood. It's a little too chalky, meaning the guy is obviously one of the best players in baseball, but I'm betting him tonight. I did this. Over 1.5 total bases, plus 114. I played 2+ hits, runs, RBIs at minus 145, and here's a fun bet that I made tonight. I used a bonus bet on a home run by Wood, on a home run by Kyle Stowers, who was going tonight, plus matchup for him tonight against
I like
Nola.
That a lot.
And I did this now goes against Melton, but I did Pete Alonso is the one guy that has a plus matchup against Melton. I did 2+ hits, runs, and RBIs out of him. This parlay bonus bet at 35 to 1 tonight.
I like that.
I don't do those often, but I had a bonus bet, so I'm like, let's see how I can get creative, and that's how I did it. So there you go.
Have some fun. What's black, white, and red all over? My plays from last night. It's a lot of red on them. We lost the Wheeler ladder. I'd still go back to it just based on where he was going, where the Marlins were, and he still had 6 strikeouts on 69 pitches.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get shelled the way he does, I think we have a pretty good chance. Max Fried doesn't get there. We just missed. Peyton Toley salvages the day with the lone winner on the board as Goldschmidt does not help us out. He had 1 hit. We need over 1.5 total bases. That was one where I went, hits, runs, RBIs minus 159. I don't want to pay that. I'll go total bases. Doesn't work out. But we don't stop far.
By the way, how do you manage to navigate those 2 specific props?
You know what? I used to be really good at total bases. I'm not. I'm way better at hits, runs, RBI, and it's more about
you got to pay about 30 cents more usually.
And sometimes what I do is it's like stacking a DFS lineup. If I love the matchup for an entire lineup against a pitcher, I'll do 3 guys in one lineup and hope I go 2 for 3, 2 out of 3,
and not pay ridiculous juice.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not looking to drop minus 135 plus juice, something like that.
Okay.
I'm with you on the Tigers. Melton 7-0 in Detroit's off a loss. He's been tremendous last 4, 1.21 ERA. Strikeouts are up for him as well against Dean Kramer, who I do not trust on the road. I'm going to fade Aaron Nola, but I don't really trust Miami to win the game tonight, so I went team total over 3.5. Nola did shut out the Fish back on May 4th, but Miami hitters 12 of 40, 300 average against him. Showed a little bit of life in the offense last night, and Nola's not been in good form, man. He's got a 5.01 ERA over the last 4.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but there's a home run by Kyle Stowers.
Shut up.
Yep. So that's bet number 1 in.
That helps both of us.
I probably should have played that straight, huh?
Yeah, I always play it straight and then in the parlay.
1-0 Marlins right away. Good for you.
Well, we need 3 more runs here for the Fish. We're also looking at Gavin Williams over K's. Part of that was second game of doubleheader, bunch of relievers expected to be used, but also Cincinnati, bottom 5 in K rate this year. He has been in tremendous form, so I think he's going to rack up the strikeouts. At 7.5, it's a little high, but he's a guy hovering around double digits pretty consistently. I'm also taking the Yankees against the White Sox. Market moved against me. It's now minus 125, but I love Garrett Cole in a matchup against Anthony Kay. The Yankees pretty good against lefties, and Garrett Cole, I think, as the season goes on, will improve. And then I'm chasing plus prices with the strikeouts here. 2 guys battling, Houston and the Angels. Pretty good numbers against each team. I went Peter Lambert over 5.5 Ks plus 110. Reed Detmers over 6.5 Ks plus 110. Detmer's last 2 outings against the Astros, 9 strikeouts and 9 strikeouts. One of them on March 28th, he only went 4 2/3, still had 9 strikeouts. Lambert, 26 strikeouts in his last 4 starts. That's 23 2/3 inning, a 1.52 ERA. He had 6 1/3, 2 earned, 6 strikeouts against the Angels on June 10th. I think he's in pretty good form here, and I think the Angels, who swing and miss a ton, will give him an opportunity to go over the 5.5 Ks. I just like chasing the plus prices here.
Very good. All right.
And I want to remind you, the Survivor documentary is back. It's better than ever. Circa Survivor. We are all over it here. $18.7 million on the line. A new Grandissimo format, raising the stakes. Episode 2, it drops tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. You can watch every agonizing moment of opening weekend, plus the early winners, losers, and storyline shaping the season. If you missed episode 1, don't worry. You can catch up on YouTube. Just search for VSiN Live. Whether you play Circa Survivor or just love the drama, you won't want to miss this series. Check out new episodes every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, here on VSiN.
You ever known somebody who might take a drink of whatever cocktail or coffee they're having, or a bite of a piece of food, and they're like, oh my God, this is so bad, you have to try it. And you're like, no, I don't. You just told me. Like, the look on your face right now looks like you're going to vomit. I'm going to pass. The show, this is actually a total compliment to the show, Survivor show. It's probably the only thing I can think of where you're going to watch people in agony and be like, I need to be a part of that.
Well, I think it's also chasing the high that got them there.
Yeah,
and the belief.
Yeah.
And then there's also the element that everyone watches it. Trust me, I see your DMs. Everyone watches people talk about whether it's picking a game, picking a team. And they go, I can do better. I can do better.
Yeah.
So they're going, that idiot lost on that. I won't be the same. You know what I said watching people do Survivor for the first couple of years I joined the network and I didn't dabble? I was like, you guys are insane for some of the ones you pick. And then I see how I go out, like Houston on the road at Jacksonville in week 1.
Sure, good call.
San Francisco depleted with Mac Jones on one leg on Thursday Night Football, knowing you shouldn't use Thursday Night Football on Survivor. And Sean McVay blows the game 3 different ways down the stretch. You think you know everything until it's your chance to make a decision.
My wife got into it for the first time ever last year. Had 1 entry with her friend. 1 entry. Made it to Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I'm gonna do a couple entries with some friends, and I just want to sell the ticket. I don't want the pressure of what if it's really going to happen for me. I don't want it to, I just want to make some money.
Let's go. I think we're also both going in fresh to this sound bite as well. Jim Duquette was on VSiN by the Books earlier today, former Major League Baseball GM, like which teams are going to be active, who's going to be buying, which teams are going to be selling. He had this take earlier this morning on the New York Yankees.
You know, I'm hearing that they're being very aggressive on all fronts, right? And we've talked about this over the last couple of days on my show, but they need an offensive piece clearly. Part of the problem is, okay, Bellinger's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. We're still not sure when Judge is coming back. There hasn't been a lot of news on Stanton either. Like, their offense, is mediocre at best without those 3 guys. So adding a piece there is probably more of a everyday piece. They've been looking for a right-handed bat. At this point, they'll take any lefty or right-handed bat just because they're short so much. But ideally for them, a right-handed bat that can hit in the outfield. One of the guys anyway is Joe Adell with the Angels. It's not a ton of right-handed bats out there, but I think somebody like that is somebody that they're looking at. But there's not a ton of offense available either. That's the other aspect of this. They're looking for a shortstop. Well, there's not really a shortstop out there that I think would be available. Luis Arraez, I've mentioned a couple different times, to play second base. It's not ideal. It's not perfect to have Jazz Chisholm go to third, but in this particular situation, if that's all you end up with, that's a solid piece to have to add to the lineup. And they're also looking for bullpen pieces as well. But they're a team that's active. And by the way, if there was a high-end starter like Tarik Skubal available, they have the pieces to go get him, and they certainly could make a run at him too.
Oh, side note, if Skubal's available, then go get him. That's Jim Duquette earlier today.
I'll believe it when I see it. I would love for the Yankees to go back to being the Yankees and just bullying people. But
sure. Why can't they get Arraez and Adell? That's not that far-fetched.
Why can't they get Lindor and Machado and everyone else too? It's good for baseball for them to be bad.
Up next, Femi Abebefe, Will Hill, VSiN Primetime, taking you through the entire night of Major League Baseball. Best of luck, everybody.